The rain poured endlessly outside, tapping softly against the window of the dimly lit room. Arin sat by the edge of the bed, her hands trembling slightly as she replayed Mina's words in her head. If we keep doing this, we'll destroy everything. But how could love something that felt so pure, so right be wrong? The thought echoed, a painful throb against the rhythm of the storm. Mina stood near the window, her reflection a ghostly figure against the dark, rainy glass. The flickering lamplight caught the tears in her eyes, a sadness she tried so hard to hide behind a calm expression. For years, she had been a master of disguise, pretending to be normal, pretending that the fire she felt for Arin was just a fleeting mistake. Yet, every glance, every accidental touch, was a brand, burning deeper into her heart, searing its truth into her soul. Arin couldn't bear the silence anymore. It was suffocating her. Mina, she whispered, her voice cracking under the weight of her emotions. Why do you keep pushing me away? You say we're hurting each other, but it's killing me more when you pretend you don't care. This distance, it's a slow death. Mina turned, each movement heavy with unspoken feelings. The space between them felt like a canyon, carved out by fear and longing. The thunder outside seemed to echo the turmoil in her heart. I'm scared, Arin, she confessed, her voice barely a whisper. I'm so scared. Scared of what people will think. Scared of losing my family, my job, everything I've built. Then lose it, Arin said, a sudden fire in her eyes as she stood up to face her. Lose it all if it means we can finally be honest. I am so tired of hiding, Mina. I'm tired of this half-life. I love you, and I don't care who knows it. The words hung in the air, sharp and clear, cutting through the low rumble of thunder. The silence that followed was electric, filled with tension, love, and years of unspoken pain. Mina's eyes glistened as a single tear escaped, tracing a path down her cheek. She wanted to be strong, to resist, to retreat back into the safety of her lies, but her heart had already betrayed her. It was screaming Arin's name. Arin took a tentative step forward, then another. The world seemed to shrink until all that existed was the small space between them, charged with a magnetic pull. Their breaths mingled. The sound of the rain faded into a distant hum. The world outside, with all its judgment and expectations, simply disappeared. There was only the frantic, synchronized beating of two hearts that had waited far too long to collide. Arin, Mina breathed, her voice trembling, a mix of surrender and fear. Before she could say another word, before her mind could build another wall, Arin gently lifted her chin and kissed her. It wasn't planned. It wasn't careful or gentle. It was raw, desperate, and devastatingly real, like lightning striking the same place twice, defying all odds. Mina froze for a heart-stopping moment, the shock of it jolting through her. Then, as if a dam had broken inside her, she melted into the kiss. Her hands clutched Arin's shirt, her knuckles white, as if she was afraid Arin might vanish like a dream. Tears mixed with the taste of rain on their lips as they moved together in a desperate rhythm, soft, then intense, then soft again. Every moment of denial, every stolen glance, every secret they had buried came rushing out in a tidal wave of emotion. The warmth between them was no longer forbidden, it was inevitable, a force of nature as powerful as the storm raging outside. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless, their chests heaving. Mina's face was flushed, her lips slightly swollen. Arin's eyes glowed with an intoxicating mix of love and pain. This is wrong, Mina murmured, but her trembling voice and the way she leaned into Arin's touch betrayed her words. It was a protest without conviction. Then let it be wrong, Arin replied softly, her thumb stroking Mina's cheek. Because this feels more real, more right, than anything else in my entire life. Mina looked away, fighting the tears that threatened to fall again. She had spent her whole life following the rules, meeting expectations, and bowing to her fears. But Arin's love was different. It wasn't a cage of expectations. It was a key. It didn't ask her to be perfect. It just asked her to be true. And for the first time, a genuine smile touched Mina's lips. It was small, fragile, and utterly beautiful. She reached up, her fingers gently tracing the line of Arin's jaw. You always make everything feel so dangerous, she said, her voice laced with a newfound wonder. Arin smirked, a spark of her usual confidence returning. That's because love is dangerous, Mina. The best things always are. They both laughed, a quiet, intimate sound that softened the tension in the room. The air was still heavy with emotion, but it was lighter now, too, as if something shackled deep inside both of them had finally broken free. Mina moved closer again, her body pressing against Arin's, this time with no hesitation. She leaned in, her lips brushing against Arin's ear. "If this is poison," she whispered, the words a solemn vow, "then I'll drink it. I'll drink every last drop." Their lips met again, slower this time, deeper, filled with the meaning of her surrender. It was a kiss of acceptance, a promise sealed in the heart of the storm. The thunder rolled outside, a final dramatic crescendo, but the storm in their hearts had finally found its peace. When they parted, Mina rested her forehead against Arin's, their eyes closing as they savored the moment. "Promise me," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "Promise me that no matter what happens next, no matter how hard it gets, you won't regret this." "I could never regret you," Arin whispered back, her voice firm with certainty. "You're my beautiful poison." Outside, the relentless downpour began to ease. The first faint rays of dawn started to paint the dark sky in shades of gray and pink, as if the world itself was granting them a moment of grace. But this was only the beginning. Love like theirs, so passionate and so long denied, could never stay hidden forever. And they both knew that when the world found out, everything they had ever known, everything they had built, might shatter into a million pieces. Yet, in that fragile, quiet dawn, they didn't care. All that mattered was that for the first time, they were free. Free to love, free to feel, and free to finally, truly, be themselves. If love is poison, then let it kill me softly.